Water.
It's on its way. Maybe tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Until it decides to go dead.
Coach Keith.
They all do.
Huh?
They all do.
Hey, so,
Yeah, but his is dying quick.
sometimes I can take it off the charge and like 10 minutes later it's dying. So, I figure once it dies, my day's done.
No.
We'll call the health and safety meeting to order. I guess I'll call the roll. Dusty Jordan,
Here.
Steve Giannakis,
Here.
Keith Nash,
Here.
Devin Pickard,
Here.
Ron Mayberry.
Here.
Jim Herring,
Here.
Ricky Murray.
Here.
Danny Clark is here. All the others are absent. First order of business is approval of agenda. It was emailed out to you.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Mayberry, seconded by Mr. Giannakis. All those in favor of the agenda say aye.
Aye.
Did anybody sign up for the public comment, Ron?
You have one, sir. No, you don't, sir. It says health and safety, sorry.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the minutes from the last meeting. Motion by Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Pickard. All those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It gets us to the monthly reports. Mr. Lavengood's not here. It's kinda early in the month. They may not have anything. Did you get yours? Do you have your financial stuff, Sheriff? Not that you're gonna tell us anything, it's just,
Alan said he was gonna be here.
we can get back to him if he shows up. Do you have anything, Pete?
Everything that I have is in my packet tonight, so I don't have anything.
Mr. Howe?
Same.
Emailed it to us. Do you have anything, Mr. Sheriff?
Alright, thank you. Alan will be right here. No, sir, I did not get a chance to get my report sent out. I don't really have anything. We do have about 136 in the jail right now, so we are still better than what it was. And I'll answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions for the sheriff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Whoa. Mr. Warden, that brings us to you on the agenda. Did everybody get the email for what Mr. Warden's gonna talk about? Floor is yours.
All right. Thank you for allowing me to be here, Chairman and Commissioners. This is a follow-up to our proposal for the Hickman County, management of the Hickman County Ag Pavilion under HCA, which is joining, combining the National Banana Pudding Festival and the Ag and Arts Foundation under the umbrella. Under this this proposal, this is a little bit of a narrative of where we're at and why we're here, how we got here, I guess. Last meeting, there was some reservations about the facility and why the facility would be an ideal place for events that draw in tourism. So with the first line item, the mission statement of Hickman County Attractions is to organize local volunteers to produce events that attract tourists to Hickman County, Tennessee, as a means of increasing the opportunities and quality of life for its citizens. This is HCA's mission statement. Our goal is simple but powerful in that we use regional tourism as a tool to increase opportunities and the quality of life for the citizens. Everything we do serves that purpose. Section 2, the performance and scale of the 2025 National Banana Pudding Festival uses the slide deck that I presented in there. This is what we presented at the Chamber Tourism meeting that happened last October, where we made our announcements of the festival event. In 2025, we had 105 vendors utilizing our local vendors, but also regional vendors making an impact in the local business community. We used close to 350 volunteers for both days of the festival. We served 8,000 pounds of pudding, and that was made by our nonprofit organizations. And we served 3,000 7-ounce containers, and our pudding path sold 4,650 containers. So this is driven by the success of what the event is and why it's there. And all that goes back to the nonprofits that we serve. In attendance was 9,343, which was a record, not close to our goal of 10,000. In the deck, you also see that we brought in 650 random samplings of zip codes. This is what we asked, where y'all from? We have volunteers that ask people their zip codes, so we do a random sampling of that. Tax assessors office was part of that, thankfully. 650 responses. We represented 45 counties from across all of Tennessee. In the national level, we had 36 states represented, including Alaska and the District of Columbia. And we had 298 U.S. counties represented in our random sampling. This is the heat map that's on here showing the density of the responses we received. So absence of Tennessee and Alabama, California, Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, and Florida were some of the most population dense areas that reached us. Also nationally, we reached 6 countries, including Australia, Canada, Japan, Italy, Vietnam, and Dutch Antilles. So that is kind of what we're showcasing, where our reach is as a national banana pudding festival, where HCA has that capability of expanding beyond the borders of Hickman County and Tennessee. So the focus is that we're no longer a local gathering. We're not catering to the local, we're catering to a national level, but more importantly, regional in Tennessee. And that's where all of our marketing dollars spend. We don't focus on marketing to our people here. A lot of folks say, well, it's too costly for our folks. It's not geared toward people here. It's geared to drive people in from other areas, to see our resources, to see what we have available. In section 3, we have the attendant audience profile and state tourism standards. Using the Placer AI data that's in the deck, you can see information that in 2023, I did a study in 2024 with Placer AI. It was but actually we're trying to sell me on Placer AI, but during the presentation, I stole the data he was presenting to me because it was valuable. And so that's what I'm sharing with you. So, sorry. The reason why I'm sharing this data is that there are research methods to find out information and ways of tracking who's actually coming to our festival. And this is realistic using cell phone pings. There's other that use credit card data as well. And this information is showcasing population density that's very similar to what's in line with ours. It is a random sampling as well, because it's based on people's volunteering that information on their cell phone pings. But in 2023, they estimated we had 8,300 people visit, with an average distance covering from anywhere from 20 to 30 miles, 50 miles, and 100 miles or greater. And that's based on their information. And image 3, you have a map of that heat map showcasing where everybody comes from the state. Image 4 showcases where everybody's coming from in the region, the states around us, surrounding us. Where it gets interesting is what we can do profiles. Why this is important is that the per household income is higher than the national average. So in image 5, 6, and 7, and 8, these are profiles of the people that attend the festival. So you have the median income, disposable income is 118, so 100 being the national average. We're over 18 basis points over the national average. The average income is 12 basis points over that. So we're attracting a higher demographic that is willing to pay money and come to events that are what we consider agritourism, or events that are in the backcountry roads of Hickman County, as we say. The average age is a little bit lower than the national average, so we're right below the 38.38, the median age as well. And the households that have children are 10 basis points higher than the average, and 24 basis points have a college degree or greater, which is signifying that we have an educated population that is coming to these events as well. The other interesting thing, image 7 and 8 show the average likes of what these profiles say. So in the top 3 things, you have Bell's Brewery, Founders Brewery, and Dogfish Head Breweries. These are breweries that are on their profile, and there are multiple people that are catering to that. So these are craft beers. So we're attracting a little bit more refined profile when it comes to flavor. What is interesting is, of all these are beers that are at the top. You have Moon Pies at 7 basis points over the national average. Moon Pie is one of our sponsors, so it's natural that we're attracting a demographic that likes Moon Pies. We use this data to cater to our marketing and focus on how we can outreach to places outside of Hickman County. And so that's where we cater our Facebook profiles to reach very specific demographics. And that is why we have a higher profile that is attracted to our event. And in image 10 and image 11, these are interesting. Image 10 shows the foot traffic before they got to the festival, and it shows the foot traffic after they got to the festival. So it's actually tracking them after they leave and before they get there. Why this is important, I'll talk about it a little bit later. We have Dunkin' Donuts is number 1 in Fairview. At 1.1% of all of our visitors went to Dunkin' Donuts. After Fish Camp got 1.5% of the traffic. Fast Stop Market, Mapco Mart, Dollar General, and Fairview Liquors and Wine. And the image 11, this one focuses strictly on restaurants. The top 5 you have here, or 4 we have here, are local. Obviously, Breeze's is the local place, so that still hasn't been changed on whatever pings that is. Colton is one of our sponsors also they're on there, and Papa K. Joe's number 6. So visitors, this is again a random sampling average of the visitors that they estimate attended these places on the far right side. Why that is important is it is a statement of where the Ag Pavilion is actually located. Being in Centerville and eccentric to Centerville, it is pulling people across the whole entire county to spend tax dollars in our gas stations, restaurants, hotels, Airbnbs. And I unfortunately use this because the Grinders Switch Rodeo was part of our partnership for the Ag Pavilion. Had to relocate to the Cowboy Church. Under pure tourism circumstances, it was wildly successful, a great event they put on, but it's within minutes from Dixon County's line, and all the tax revenue went straight back to Dixon County for gas stations, hotels, restaurants. for people that are leaving, unless they went to Columbia and participated in Meal Day or whatever else. So that's just food for thought on why geographically centered the Ag Pavilion is such an important resource to where that location is. Going back to this, the Pure Tennessee Department of Tourism Development metric classifies a tourism event as drawing significant crowds from beyond 50 miles or greater. This is important because when we talk about sports marketing, tourism for our ball fields or whatnot, that is not a pure definition of tourism, and it would be very susceptible for scrutiny under a line item when you're doing a allocation for a tourism spend. And that's no bashing on our ballparks, as we know that they're very well needed to be tended to as well. But if we try to use that as a pure tourism standpoint, it doesn't hold mustard with the Tennessee Department of Tourism. Now, unless it's a sporting event that is drawing people from all across the state, like a state tournament. And like Murfreesboro has state tournaments, they host those. So our summer league tournament would be classified as that if they're using hotels to stay in our county overnight. And that's the other thing, is that it's designed to be spent on resources for pure tourism that drives people to stay overnight, spend their tax dollars here, and use our resources locally. Sorry. The part 4, we talk about agritourism boom and the destination precedent. Hickman County's position is perfectly positioned to capture the booming national market. It's one of the number one tourism focuses in Tennessee is agritourism. The Ag Pavilion plays a part of that. Our festival is not necessarily an agritourism festival, but it is a cultural heritage type of event that draws people all across the state for that. But as they're going through the county, they're seeing the farmlands, the natural resources we have, and that's what makes it attractive to people to want to come to a rural area. The Ag and Arts Tours that's coming up will be a vital part of that, utilizing the Ag Pavilion as a resource, but it also involves them going from different farms all across the county, showcasing the county resources we have as well. I believe the plan is to use the Ag Pavilion as a stopping point at the end of the Ag and Arts Tour itself. I also highlight or talk about the Lynchburg model. This is something that is directly addressing where the Ag Pavilion is on a 2-lane road in the middle of the country and nowhere land. Jack Daniels is that example that I use. It's in Lynchburg, Tennessee, home of 700 people. There's 750 people that work at Jack Daniels Distillery itself. It's on 2-lane roads, nowhere near any major interstate or highway. They have over 300,000 visitors every year that go to Jack Daniels from all over the globe. Why is that? There's only one place that Jack Daniels is made. It's right there in Lynchburg. I went to a race, a half marathon, was sponsored by Jack Daniels in Lynchburg. We had over 1,800, or we had 1,774 runners that participated in the race. With spectators and all combined, we probably had over 2,500 people on the town square at one time throughout the race itself. And that's in the middle of nowhere. And so my point is that it is the quality and the caliber of the event that you put on, such as the National Banana Pudding Festival or the Grinder Switch Rodeo or the Ag and Arts Tour, that people are craving. That's what people will go to. Once they're inside the event, they don't care that they were on a 2-lane road in the middle of nowhere. They like that actually because it's nostalgic of the rural community that we represent. So,
Let me add a footnote, only one person finished that Jack Daniels race.
Oddly enough, as you know, you cannot buy liquor in Lynchburg. They do not serve any Jack Daniels at all on that race. So, but it is very popular every year because it has a very tough hill that everybody tries to overcome. But they cap it. they have to cap the race though, because they can't have over 2,000 people on the street of Lynchburg around Jack Daniels. So kind of what I was talking about with where the Cowboy Church was with the rodeo, we have what is called revenue leakage in our county. Revenue leakage, as I've said before, people came into the county and went to Dunkin' Donuts before they even entered our county and spent their money. Likewise, they're at McDonald's or wherever at the gas stations in Dixon. So when they leave, they are spending their money if we're not capturing them here locally. So that's why Centerville is very important to where the Ag Pavilion is and capturing that traffic that goes through here. The lodging trap we talk about is that we're in a chicken and egg situation trying to figure out how to get another hotel or a better quality hotel here when we don't have the necessarily demand for it. What part of the HCA proposal with driving in different events throughout the year that would generate a interest in saying, hey, we have so many events, perhaps we should reach out to a hotelier and try to recruit somebody that says we do have good resources for them to build a multi-million-dollar hotel. If not, some boutique hotels, smaller hotels, producing more Airbnbs, that type of thing. Not only that, are we exporting our hotel stays to the surrounding counties. The event venues that we have here also are exporting their guests to other counties because we don't have another hotel that they recommend, hey, stay in this hotel while you're having your wedding or your reunion, et cetera, et cetera. So to conclude a little bit of this, the proposal still stands of what we're trying to do in unifying the Ag Board, MBPF, and the Ag and Arts Foundation under HCA's management. We still are seeking a 40% of the hotel motel tax, or the remaining 40%, to recruit someone to be a facility, or to contract someone to be a facility manager and event coordinator, but also to perhaps try to get grants and other areas of tourism and any other opportunities that might arise that could be sports marketing, tourism, that kind of stuff as well. By allocating that 40%, we believe that we will be able to recruit more events, not only recruit events as what happened by happenstance in the rodeo. They had some folks from Ireland that visited. How do they find out about our rodeo in Ireland? It was more about the tourism agency that they were partnering with that found out there was a rodeo. They got tired of all the country music stuff in Nashville and came down and visited the rodeo. So part of that HCA initiative would be to be attractive to other tourism agents in Nashville and other surrounding counties that would be attractive to events here and try to pull people and resources to focus here. Not only that, but hotels or whatever else in the area that we can partner with to try to say, hey, these are our resources. When you're in town, stop and stay at this Airbnb, this restaurant, so on and so forth. The local fundraising platform, as we know, the Banana Pudding Festival was able to give back $87,000 last year. And that's been our track record for the last several years that we've been able to produce that. But this is that is 100% a nonprofit fundraiser. All of it goes back to the community. So using that kind of platform thought process, HCA could manage the Ag Pavilion by offering that same kind of fundraising platform for other events that take place at the pavilion itself. Parking, concession stands, whatever it is, giving back to the community in that partnership. As you know, we've brought in over 9,000 high-spend visitors, as we talked about. We think that we can replicate that process with other event management companies that want to host an event here as well. Any questions? I know there are. Thoughts?
Yes, Deb.
So I've been proven wrong twice with this banana pudding thing when it first started. I just thought there's no way that this will allow Mr. Blackburn and his crew put it together. I thought this seems too hokey, whatever. And boy, I was wrong. And I know Troy Fish Camp, all the restaurants will probably tell you that if the weather's good that weekend, for us at least, it's the busiest day by far on Saturday and Friday and Saturday for us. But then when it moved from the river park to the pavilion, I thought, it seemed like the river park was a good spot because people would see it driving by, maybe stop, whatever. But you and I have talked a little bit about it, and you explained that although you obviously want locals to come to that one of your driving forces is to try to get folks from out of town. So they're not concerned about it, were it, as you said, necessarily that it's at the river park. They don't even know what the river park is. And this Lynchburg model really, really clears that up. And I never thought about that. And, 2-lane road into this little town that's not even a third the size of Centerville. And so has your group, are you already maybe anticipating if what you're asking were to happen? Are you already thinking about what type of events you'd maybe like to try to bring in? Is there other things that you're spitballing and thinking, well, maybe this would work or that would work, or is that just?
Well, it's like a kind of a no holds bar, because there's so many ways to approach it. We have a person that's on our National Banana Pudding Festival board that it works for Live Nation or contracts with Live Nation. He's very well known in the sound industry. He's our sound guy, and he lives here, and he's passionate about bringing things here. So he does have a interest in trying to bring back concerts or things at the Ag Pavilion, but he also has partnerships and knowledge of country music stars that live here and or frequent here as well, and have already started a conversation of not just using the Ag Pavilion itself, but as a main feature with multiple stages throughout Hickman County, to not just focus on Centerville, but maybe the eastern side and Coble, or probably not on Swan Creek. But so that is one facet, the Ag and Arts Tour, the agritourism, tapping into more of that kind of stuff, rodeo, possibly bringing in another festival that wouldn't be managed by us, but featuring it. I say this because in Murfreesboro, there is a banana pudding festival that is not affiliated with us, but people tried to affiliate with us. But it's a for-profit organization that puts on a peach cobbler festival, a blueberry cobbler festival, a fried pickle festival, and it's all held in the same vicinity, using the same vendors, using the same resources. They just change out what the festival is. Our intention is not to be that, but it is very easy to replicate and cookie cutter an event like our festival. We have the resources, we have the means of all the vendor connections that we have. We actually are sold out for all of our vendor spots. We sold out by the middle of April, which is because we only opened it up for 45 days. So that's how much of a demand to be a vendor at our festival is. So we could easily replicate that at other types of festivals, to answer that question. But, and we know that the facility needs a lot of upkeep, as it's been neglected throughout the years. But one of the things that I've been trying to figure out is how to get a flooring put into it. It's a removable flooring, so you could host other events like a car show. People don't want to drive their cars on church. So that is one facet that holds back certain things of the event. But my sound guy said that he just saw flooring that normally goes for about $100,000 to $150,000 was sold at auction for $8,000 last month. So there's ways of partnering with existing things to get used stuff out here that makes it work. Personally, it's not a great thing for the festival to have people eating in the arena because of the dust that's stirred up by people's feet, and it is very dusty. So, but people haven't complained about it. I complain about it because my shoes are orange by the festival. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any more questions for Robert? Mr. Mayberry?
The rodeo was moved because of a parking issue.
Correct.
How can you overcome, or has that been overcome? Is there a way to overcome that?
That is something that I've been working with the property owner, and I was actually the one that discovered the issue to begin with. But it's an insurance liability issue that involves not necessarily using the facility itself, but it involves how she leases her land. So she's in the process of getting her insurance straightened out with someone that understands what she needs. And I have pitched her to allow us to lease the land of some capacity, specifically for events when the need for parking arises. She's not keen on the idea, but she's open to listening. So that's where we're at right now.
How you?
And it was just an unfortunate circumstance where she was not ready to, she didn't have any insurance whatsoever, and she was not ready to say, yeah, you can use the land with the COI covering it, which is very simple to do, but she just didn't understand that business, line of business, so to speak.
But you're having dialogue with Betsy
Yeah,
now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Currently.
Any more questions, Mr. Ward?
What? I was either that good or not that great.
I thought it was pretty good. I do know there's some headway getting made on the insurance situation. I think that's really the only holdback to the park. You have something else, Devin?
The 40% that you guys are requesting, that is not gonna be able to fully fund the position.
That's correct.
Right? Yeah, so, and you may have covered it, and so to try to come up with the rest of it, how will you do that?
As through ticket sales or events that are taking place at the pavilion. I fundamentally believe, I'm in the private sector, so I believe that giving up the option for nonprofits or volunteers to try to stir events at the pavilion does not drive them to do that. So having a set amount of money to say this is your salary, but if you have XYZ events drawing in XYZ dollars, you're gonna get 10% or 5% of the profits. And I think that would drive in a desire for more income to say, hey, if I can bring in 100,000, I can get an extra $10,000 in my pocket. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
So your tourism director, whatever the title is, will be commission-based.
Correct, partly commission-based, but a monthly rate, but commission for the remaining amount, which is whatever is dictated by her or his success. So.
I'm sorry, one final question. It may be in your, and you're looking for a duration of how long initially with this?
The original request was for 5 years, which the reason for 5 was we think it takes 3 years to really finesse the position, to get the position growing, to understand how to market and to pull people in for industry. So a lot of trust goes into it, and you have to build that trust. 4 years puts it in an election cycle, and I think that we need to not be on an election cycle. 5 years is that swinging grace period. But if y'all think it should be 3, then we can explore that too.
So with a rodeo, is there any opportunity to expand that and have multiple rodeos, or?
I have been looking at other, we'll call it like special possibly like a timed event, day, whatever that would look like. It probably look like a jackpot. I don't know if you're familiar with any kind of rodeo type stuff, but more like a jackpot type event where they pay a little bit higher entry prize, but it's mostly payback and then a little bit of it stays. But maybe do like a 2-day deal where they come in, kind of hang out, and probably make that where it's not ticket sales based, but the event would just retain a portion of the park.
The reason why I asked that is I keyed in on what you said, that there's some people that come to Nashville, they kind of get tired of the country music and they don't do the downtowns, they can have enough of that after about probably one night.
2 hours.
We're not that far away from folks to come and to be able to do that, so, having some kind of regular, scheduled events, I think would be good, and I think you can capitalize, I like what you said there, so, that's it.
On that, I used to do a lot of conventions with my wife. She would have to go, I needed to find something to do. Nashville does a lot of conventions, and it doesn't take those people long to get all of the lower broad that they want. And something like the rodeo, that's how the people from Ireland ended up on Missionary Ridge. They were country music out, and their tour guide threw some options at them,
They
and
actually
they came to
charge
the
the
rodeo.
bus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And to Devin's point, there's nothing stopping us from growing youth events, growing 4-H. Jonathan's talked about stock shows, like, the options are unlimited to what we can do, especially if we grow that facility.
Curious, and I don't know a thing about rodeoing, but I'm assuming the Cowboy Church, space that you had was smaller than what the Ag Pavilion would have been.
Yes.
In other words, so had you been able to have it at the Ag Pavilion, would that have made it, could you have done more, or I don't know how that works.
I think we would have had more room, because I'd already had my rodeo contractor out there with a tape measure months before the event. I'd already had my bleacher rental man out there with a tape measure months before the event. We had a layout that was gonna work with the existing bleachers and fold-up chairs in the bleacher rental. We should have had seating for close to 2,000 people, just a little shy. But because of the hiccup, we ended up with only bleacher seating for about 1,200 people, so there was a lot of people standing around. And then as far as the actual rodeo arena itself goes, initially we were supposed to be taking the arena that is up there down so that we could build ours inside of it. We couldn't do that over there because all of the arena fixtures are in concrete. So long term, because normally everything's up in the air, but I want to make sure that this happens next year too. Exploring taking that out possibly, but basically it made it to where over there I had a 120 by 120 square, and anybody that has been to a team roping knows that horses need more than just a couple of strides to go out and give the rider an opportunity to rope a steer and turn a steer. The short arena ended up leaving me with 2 rope and belt buckles. Nobody was able to get a qualifying run, so I've got 2 rope and belt buckles that stayed with us.
You can try to qualify.
I'd like to get what Robert said, by having the rodeo at the Cowboy Church, it obviously did not, talking money-wise, did not benefit us at all. So you had, how many people was estimated?
Roughly 2,000.
2,000 people, and
Unless they went to Columbia
yeah,
or.
well, yeah, I mean,
Lowe's.
exactly, there's nowhere to go. I mean, they're going, just a couple miles up the road to Dixon to eat, and they're spend their money there, so. Yeah, it does us no good to have somewhere like that.
And, I mean, and there's been talks of, well, we should put another fairground out there. I don't, honestly, until there's hotels or other places for people to stay, you'll have the leakage and it'll continue to leak out there. You might get some folks eating at the restaurants there, but if they're open too.
There's not very many restaurants on that.
Right, true. It's chicken and egg situation.
Well, there's one thing for sure, one begets the other. Doesn't matter who come first, one will get you the other one.
That's right.
I mean, you gotta start somewhere. Any more discussion for Mr. Ward? I don't think anybody's ready to make any motions or do any votes tonight, but and this was all emailed to you on your iPad account. If you haven't looked at it. Just
I do have a question on, you had mentioned, Robert, the timed events for the rodeo. You have a pretty solid contractor, stock contractor, you got a pretty solid, so he can provide steers for open bulldog.
He told me he'll do whatever
calf
I want.
roll.
He'll do whatever I want.
Now those the timed events, barrel racing committee met, and the roping's calf roping, team roping's gotten big this side of Mississippi in the last 34 years. Those draw cowboys
Huge
or
crowds.
cowgirls. Now, if they'll draw a crowd, you drew one.
Well,
you know.
so a friend of mine just went to a round robin team roping in Alabama, and there was spectators, but the spectators were competitors, and there was about 2,000 of them there.
Yeah.
It was I think a 2 solid day. We're talking they were roping almost 20 hours each day.
Oh yeah, I've been to a couple of those back whenever I was doing that. I'm too old for it now. And you-
thank you, Robert. This isn't over with.
I see.
Probably need to let them absorb some of this that they got hit with tonight.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Livengood,
Thank you. Sorry I'm late. The numbers for March, we ran 252 total calls. And if you notice over the past few months, as you look back, our numbers are trending down. Usually we're at 300, 350 calls. So over the past few months, we've been way down in calls. And also notice that our collections, 84,681.65, it's kind of leveling out. So this is the new company, we were seeing dips down into the 40,000s with the old company, and we're starting to kind of see it stream on out there about 84, and in that neighborhood. And our charges were 115,339.83, so those margins are shrinking also. So I think that kind of tells the story on the job that our new building company is doing. And so those are the numbers. Appreciate your vote on them.
motion approved. Motion by Mr. Giannakis, second by Mr. Mayberry to approve the financial statement from the ambulance service. Roll call vote. Mr. Jordan?
Yeah.
Mr. Giannakis?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mr. Pickard?
Yes.
Mr. Barnhill has joined the meeting. Would you like to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Mayberry?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Herring?
Yes.
The chairman votes yes. You through?
I was gonna tell you, we are running out of the Pinewood Station full throttle. Had a few little humps and bumps that we're trying to work our way through, but just nothing that's extraordinary, just kind of normal operation things that we're trying to iron out. We've got a lot of moving parts, a lot of different departments that play a part, so getting everybody on the same page it has been a little bit rough, but we're making it work.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I happened to be down there, riding through on my motorcycle and pulled over and got to see the first call roll out of that building.
I've got a video of it if anybody wants it, so.
Didn't look like they were fully moved in. I looked in through the doors.
Yeah, pretty much everything's in there now. We still have some contracts we need to sign with like our O2 company and some other folks like that, and they'll move some of their equipment in at that time. And so we're in the process Matt's working on that.
Okay, well, that,
There's a wiring issue there, and Matt's trying to get that fixed. But as they make their trips to the hospital, they can swing by Centerville if they're coming down here, swing by east if they're in Dixon and fuel up, so.
I knew they could handle that. I was as concerned for the sheriff as I was the ambulances.
And, me and Alan talked about that the other day when was out there, everybody gets moved in. I know my guys are gonna use that as just a secondary, if they're out there and have to have gas, we're still using town as our primary source of getting fuels. But it'll be great when it is functional.
Especially like that generator on that building, and through the ice storm, it would've been nice to have those gas pumps out.
Absolutely.
Yes, Dave?
Alan, are your folks able to stay overnight now there?
They are staying overnight, yes.
Okay, good.
Any more questions for the ambulance director? That takes care of all the new business. There's old business on this, Jason. It's a resolution regarding the nuisance laws. Did we take care of that at the last court meeting, or is that still up in the air?
I don't think it ever got voted on.
So there's two. One's for the nuisance laws,
Yes.
and the other one is for, you want them to permit roadblocks if they're taking up money.
Yes.
And those will be at the next county commission meeting.
Yes, that
There-
my understanding is they've not been voted on by the board.
I was thinking that was right. Does anybody have any questions about those, since they're on the agenda?
Do we not,
I think we've talked about them in here already.
but we need to make a motion to send them to Full County Commission for approval?
Does Dusty have a second? Motion by Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Mr. Mayberry to send those resolutions to the full body. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They'll be on the agenda for the next county court meeting. Is there any new business that wasn't on the agenda? Looking for that motion, Mr. Mayberry.
Motion to adjourn.